Myself J. P. Thakur. I am from V&J Pharmaceutical Service. This topic is covered to increase knowing for pharma industry. Today I will giving your training about quality guidelines of Q7A. ICH. Full name, International Conference on Harmonization. Today I guide you some basic requirements for registration of pharmaceuticals for human use. This ICH Harmonized Tripartite Guideline Good Manufacturing Practice Guide for Active Pharmaceutical Ingredients Q7A. This guideline has been developed by the appropriate ICH expert working group and has been subject to consultation by the regulatory parties, in accordance with the ICH process. At step 4 of the process, the final draft is recommended for adoption to the regulatory bodies of the European Union, Japan and USA. In this guidelines I cover total 19 part. Now start to guide your first part, Introduction. Introduction. The objective ICH guide is intended to provide guidance regarding good manufacturing practice (GMP) for the manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients (APIs) under an appropriate system for managing quality. It is also intended to help ensure that APIs meet the requirements for quality and purity that they are represented to. Process. In this guide, manufacturing is defined to include all operations of receipt of materials, production, packaging, repackaging, labeling, relabeling, quality control, release, storage, and distribution of APIs and the related controls. In this guide, the term should indicates recommendations that are expected to apply unless shown to be inapplicable or replaced by an alternative demonstrated to provide at least an equivalent level of quality assurance. For the purposes of this guide, the terms current good manufacturing practice and good manufacturing practices are equivalent. The guide as a whole does not cover safety aspects for the personnel engaged in the manufacture, nor aspects of protection of the environment. These controls are inherent responsibilities of the manufacturer and are governed by national laws. This guide is not intended to define registration, filing requirements or modify pharmacopoeial requirements. This guide does not affect the ability of the responsible regulatory agency to establish specific registration, filing requirements regarding APIs within the context of marketing, manufacturing authorizations or drug applications. All commitments in registration, filing documents must be met. Regulatory applicability. Regulatory applicability depends within the world community. Materials may vary as to the legal classification as an API. When a material is classified as an API in the region or country in which it is manufactured or used in a drug product, it should be manufactured according to this guide. Scope. The scope guide applies to the manufacture of APIs for use in human drug, medicinal products. It applies to the manufacture of sterile APIs only up to the point immediately prior to the APIs being rendered sterile. The sterilization and aseptic processing of sterile APIs are not covered by this guidance, but should be performed in accordance with GMP guidelines for drug medicinal products as defined by local authorities. An API starting material is a raw material, intermediate, or an API that is used in the production of an API and that is incorporated as a significant structural fragment into the structure of the API. An API starting material can be an article of commerce, a material purchased from one or more suppliers under contract or commercial agreement, or produced in-house. API starting materials normally have defined chemical properties and its structure